How good does it get, SK?
Why not us, Charlie?
Today, live from the Pinecrest Inn, it's the Smylie Show. So long, everybody.
This is the Smylie Show.
All right, happy to welcome in one of the most recent winners on the PGA Tour, Akshay Bhatia. Of course, you saw him winning at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Akshay, it's a pleasure to have you back on the podcast, brother. I know energy-wise, probably a little on the low side coming off a couple-week stretch, but it's got to be fun to reflect on winning at Arnie's place, man, and having that red cardigan jacket in your I assume you keep it with you in your closet, or is that something that stays on site like the green jacket?
No, yeah, I got to keep it, which is awesome. It's in the closet. I think we're going to kind of hang it on the wall at some point.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, happy to obviously win. Happy to be on your podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
So yeah, it's been a great couple of weeks for me, and honestly, start to the year. So kind of looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah, I guess let's start at the, back in December, you bring on Joe Greiner, which I thought was a great hire. Joe, of course, used to work for Max Homa, had a bunch of success on the bag with Max. And then Joe, obviously getting hired to your bag. One of the most interesting things about Joe is that he's also a lefty. And I never really thought about it, but the more I did, the more I could say that it's probably nice to have a guy who also plays on the same side of the ball as you, that sees the same shots. And of course, if you watch the NFL, the NFL Films production deal from the Players Championship, you realize how good Joe is at his job. And I think everybody now knows Joe is a great asset to your bag.
Yeah, I was really excited to have Joe. It was like, I really wanted to work with him for a long time, especially when Max and him split. And at first we were talking and he decided to go with Colin, which I understood. And then obviously then they split. So I was like, oh, there's another chance. And so I was going to kind of wait it out with my older caddy till the playoffs. And then I get to Memphis and he's working with Jake Knapp. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe it. But yeah, I was happy during the off season. It was like, I really felt like I've had a lot of great caddies, and I've learned a lot of what I like, what I dislike. And I feel like I'm a little more complex kind of player, the amount of shots I hit. But him being left-handed was such a big thing, especially going into Augusta. And then the fact that he's won on tough golf courses, like all of his wins pretty much have been on demanding golf courses. So I was really excited for that. And you never know how we're going to mesh, right? But our first 3-4 weeks, it felt like we've been together for a long time. And once he started to get to know my game and get more comfortable, and then you realize, just the way he pumps you up without you feeling like he's like overpowering. And I think that was a huge thing for me, because it's easy to get down on yourself on the golf course, but he kind of turns the negatives into positives super fast. Hence the NFL Films. He's like, I love that you're playing angry now. Like, either let it go or just keep going with it. And that's kind of what he told me during the back nine of Arnold Palmer. So he's been awesome. He's a great person. Him being lefty, it's just really fun for us. And anything I do, whether it's I chip cross-handed, I use a broomstick, or like, he's like, I'm going to do that. You're convincing me to do it. So it's pretty fun.
All right. So the cross-handed. So is that something that you're just kind of toying with? Because I haven't watched you play enough this season to see how often you've used it around the greens. Is it something you just kind of toyed with and kind of implemented into play?
Yeah, a little bit. I did it a lot in Hero, because it's brutal to chip
grainy.
There.
Yeah. What does it feel like? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, what do you feel like you're really good at when you chip cross-handed?
I'm very neutral. That's the thing. Like, I'm very cutty with my golf swing, and it's in my DNA when I go to chipping. And that's what I did for a long time with my old coach, Gabe, is he taught me, to be steep, to be cutty, kind of how the modern chipping, thing is now. But it kind of got to a point where like, it was so cutty. It was so like, and so I would get like short left all the time when I go cross-handed. I was messing around with it because Ricky was the guy who's like, you should just practice it and just see if you feel something, and you use your chest more and everything. So my handle gets higher, especially on grainy grass. Ball, like spin axis, stays pretty neutral. And so I did it a lot at Hero. And then I did it a lot when I was in contention at Waste, which again, like I'm never afraid to try stuff. Because because I still chip both ways, and like occasionally I might go cross-handed if I feel like it's necessary, but I don't know. I just like messing around, and there's like not one way to do it. So
When do you find it necessary right now? Like, what type of shot where you're like, yep, this is definitely the one I'm going to chip cross-handed?
honestly, like basic shots where I have to get it running because I cut it so much and create so much spin. So I'll do it if it's like a straightforward shot. I'll do it if the slope's right to left, and I can kind of like hood
Okay.
it into the slope.
All right, that makes sense.
But again, it's like rarely. It'll be maybe once a round or once a tournament. But waist, I think I did it 3 or 4 times the final round because obviously there's a lot of pressure. But two, just some of the shots I had were like it needed to be soft. It couldn't be like too fast coming off the club face. So I just try it, and they worked out great. So I have it in my arsenal.
Well, one talking point I want to get your opinion on is the Pebble Beach event. So you were, I felt like, in the lead for the most of this event, right? It was a golf course. It was cold. It was windy. It was, soft greens, all of it. But we've seen a trend lately and on the PGA Tour where it's been difficult for either the leaders or guys who've been top of the leaderboard all week for them to stay up there throughout the entire 72 holes and win the golf tournament. So you've obviously experienced both sides of this now. So I want to get your opinion of what the feelings are of having to sleep on the lead and seeing the leaderboards throughout the day when you're playing and seeing your name at the top. And is that taxing on you throughout the week? And did you find it easier to come from behind and win at Bay Hill than it was to, win at Pebble Beach, which obviously didn't happen, but you were a part of the storyline the entire week at Pebble?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I started out the year, going into the year, very nervous, very anxious of how my game was going to be. Like, what if nothing goes great? And then it was funny. My wife had a conversation with me after American Express saying like, you give anxiety too much, like too much power. Like you consistently say like, oh, this is holding me back and all this stuff. So we changed the dialogue in my head, at least, where I don't mention that word, or I change it as like energy or excitement or whatever. And so after that talk I had with her going into Pebble, I was so calm at Waste, and then I was very calm at Pebble, and I played great. Like Joe and I talked about it after, like what could we done better on Sunday, and there wasn't much. Like the thing now is there's so many guys that are so capable of going to shoot 6 under in a final round. Like you can't go cruise and go shoot 1 or 2 under and sorry, my dogs. Can't go shoot one or 2 under and think you have the tournament locked up. And I literally felt like I was going to throw up on Sunday going into Arnold Palmer. So it's pretty crazy how this year has gone for all these tournaments, because a lot of guys have had big leads that have shrunk so fast. But yeah, it is hard. It's hard to lead the whole time and win. It's a little easier chasing because you kind of feel like you can put pressure on someone versus having all the pressure and continuing to execute. But, some tournaments you get outplayed, and some weeks it's, you're just trying to learn how to play with those feelings. So.
Oh, totally. And would you have ever believed that you would have won on the PGA Tour doing it with your putter? You were a good putter, obviously, coming out of junior golf. You wouldn't have won as many times as you did in junior and amateur golf, but you've really transformed your game since you've gotten onto the PGA Tour until now to being, I think, one of the better putters out here. Could you have believed that, having your putter lead the way for you at the API?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was crazy. I remember rewatching it, and I think Brad Faxon said on the telecast that I was like 40% makes percentage from like 12 to 15 feet. And I think the average of the week was 14%, which is like, pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've put a lot of work into, obviously the broomstick has helped me a lot, but I've put so much work and time into like my routine. Obviously using aim point. And that week, Joe and I do a drill where we just throw a chapstick around and I'll just try and guess the percentage of slope. And I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday where I think I legit got, we do 9 holes and I think I got all 9 right within like 0.2%. And
Wow.
so my feet were great that week already. And previous year, I struggled a lot with how my putter sits on the ground. Obviously, there's not a lot of friction, so it's like sliding. My putter sits way open. And so I figured that out. And then I also figured out some stuff mentally at Waste Management where I changed my routine up a little bit, how I focused, how long I looked at the hole. So it's these small things where it helped me get that 1% better because it's been a great couple of years with the putter. Um, but yeah, that was a crazy week because I literally felt like I couldn't miss. And if I did miss, it was just like a bad read. So it's always nice when you have that. But definitely the expectations going into players was like, why is everything not going in now?
That's how it is, man. I remember the week after I won the PGA Tour, I dealt with the same level of expectations, and I was definitely much harder on myself and not as patient. So I could definitely relate to that. Uh, but it's interesting, looking at your ball striking. I've always considered you to be a very, very good ball striker. And at Bay Hill, the first couple days, the driver was definitely in some places that were a spot of bother, but the putter, the iron game, kept you in the golf tournament. And I want to ask you about just your overall ball striking and, where you feel like you are at this point in the season with where your swing is at, what feels good, what is something that you want to continue to improve on.
Yeah, my coach and he's kind of created the DNA for me to like understand what it takes to, fight a golf ball with certain winds, what it takes for setup, how many degrees of face needs to be open or closed at start. So that's where I feel like I've gotten my DNA is just through a lot of practice with him, different conditions, different lies. Never really trying to hit the hardest shot I have struggled with is like just a straight high ball, which I've needed occasionally, like on Bay Hill a little bit,
Right.
Pinehurst #2 at the U.S. Open. So we practiced some variations of that. But ball striking has always been a strength. I think I'm not afraid to hit shots. I'm not afraid to short side myself. And so that's where I feel like my DNA has made me become a very consistent ball striker. And we've changed some stuff in my golf swing. My pattern's always the same where I get like a little across the line. Trail arm doesn't really necessarily fold in the backswing. And so that's where I feel like when I see my golf swing like that, it's just awful. And so we're consistently trying to work on that. Now I got my hand path a little deeper to start the year, which then I go ball position more back, aim more right, club face, club head more in and more laid off or trying to feel laid off, which neutralize the path a little bit. But then obviously it gets to a point where it can get too deep. So we're just trying to monitor that. But yeah, it's hard. I always try and pry stuff out of my coach, especially during tournament weeks. I'm like, how does it look? What are we thinking? Any feel? And, we just do some maintenance stuff. But other than that, it's just like talking with Joe and him, during practice rounds and just trying to figure out, how to execute each golf shot to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I love that you're not afraid to shape the ball both ways. I've seen you do it with short irons, with mid irons, long irons, working it both ways. But of course, that cut always seems to be your favorite shot off the tee. It seems that the cut seems to be a go-to for you. Do you feel like you have different gears to shots or shot shapes you work on with the driver, or have you just tried to kind of simplify it into like one or two?
Yeah, definitely. I'm all over the place when it comes to shot options. With driver, again, try to create a little more of a DNA this year because I feel like as a cutter, I tend to swing so far right, and sometimes I'll just hit like straight pulls, which is like really annoying as a cutter.
That looks like that was happening on Thursday at Bay Hill, based on like what I was looking at. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it was definitely some scar tissue though from the year before, like where I did hit it.
You can't miss it left out there, so I get that.
So definitely like started to kind of like helicopter finish some balls, tee
Just trying to
balls.
save it, yeah.
Yeah, just to try and like send the message with the swing of like this is starting right and it's definitely going to cut. But now we have some nice options where it's like I have a low one where it's definitely going to cut. I have like a kind of like a spinny one if I need to hit it 280. And then we've kind of developed a draw to like straight ball with driver, which is like we call it the forearm send, so I don't go
what do you
into
have to
full
feel?
finish. It's a lot because I rotate so hard. So little stronger grip, little tilted ball back, aim square to left, Again, like
you do it
I
on
can-
your setup, which is
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
right, take it way inside, and then I have to feel like my hands speed up before my hips because I pretty much outrace it almost every time, so I'll hit it like left.
Your hips you got quick hips, which
Yeah,
is a good thing it's a good problem to have. But to hit a draw, sometimes you can get out in front of it. I can understand.
Yeah,
that.
for sure. So definitely just a couple options when I need it. Certain holes, a lot of trees that overhang. If it's in my eyesight, then I can kind of hit that draw. But there's just definitely a lot of options. I think players is a great, kind of a great place to explain it because like
100%.
15 for me is like very, very narrow and it goes to the right.
It's not
And
just
so-
you, brother. Not just
Yeah.
you.
So I end up hitting it over the trees on the right and just slicing it because it's like it just like gets over everything. Don't have to worry about it. And if I hit in that bunker, it's fine. So yeah, just a couple options. Then 18, I hit like a perfect low cut that curves 150 feet, which is amazing.
Well, a couple weeks from now, we head to Augusta. Is there any shots that you have been working on in particular for Augusta? I know you've been around there now a couple times, have some experience. What type of shots do you feel like you need to add or have been working on leading into Augusta?
Yeah, doing a lot of short game with my coach, doing a lot of practice, downhill putts, a lot of break. And then there's probably, a handful of tee balls where I haven't executed as well. And obviously there's certain ones that are very hard, but part of it is strategy. Like I've always tried to hit driver and with the amount of curve I have and
It's hard to hold the fairway.
yeah, it just goes in the pine straw.
Yeah.
And then if I pull it, then it's in the bunker. So that's just a strategic issue, but 7's a tee ball that has been very tough. It's tough for everyone. It's so narrow,
Yes.
but I think that's a tee ball where I'll kind of hit just like a 2 to 3 degree launch driver and just try and get it on the ground essentially. 8
Still
I'll
with the
try-
cut? Still with the cut or just bring it down low?
yeah, against the fairway slope, which is left to right.
Okay.
8 I'll try and kind of hit that forearm send, which is a draw, so I can at least get it as far down as I can. But I mean, there's so many great holes for me. It really just comes down to putting for me there because I haven't putted great. Like I haven't made a lot of long putts there.
We are really starting to see that slowdown, and we're anticipating it with March Madness this year. Obviously, you don't have as many states going online. Gone are the days when you're adding 10 states every year, so the numbers will inflate that way. And I mentioned prediction markets taking money as well. One firm, HG Gambling Capital, estimates that they'll add about another $500 million in bets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Get 50 home runs? He only stole 13 bases? Boy, he only pitched to a 4.15 ERA. Yeah, he's not the MVP. Like, who can steal it from him? If Ohtani plays the whole season, who can steal it from him, Tom?
It has to be something so dramatic that it will bring pause to the voters to say, hey, Ohtani's great. He was a good pitcher this year. He was a really good hitter. But what this player doing, we have to take note of.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
So why is this? The bigger question, Kevin, that we should be asking is why is this happening now? This could have happened last week. Could have happened the week before. It is goodwill season, Kevin. It is goodwill season. We want to make sure the fans are buying those tickets. We are committed to opening day.
I like that.
We are committed to spending them. I mean, look, it is what it is. Like, this is what you do to fire up the fan base.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe there are causes for players to become basketball drunk. Thursday, Friday, you're sitting around a hotel and all you're doing is watching ball. And then you go out on the floor and you're a little bit groggy. Yeah, because all you've done is just, you've laid in that hotel bed and watched game after game after game. And you get caught up in the emotion. Like everybody in the country was.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
where if I kind of hit a block straight one, it's fine.
Yeah.
Same like on 8 for me. If I try and hit a cut and I pull it, it's in that bunker. And then if I start center of the fairway and cut it, then it's in the trees. So this one, at least it's going, it's a little faster, launch is a little higher. So there's so many like crazy things at Augusta. Like every tee box is pitched uphill. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Obviously you played well there your first year, but every tee box is pitched uphill. So every time I hit it like high on the face with no spin. So that was like something I realized. And some tee boxes are above my feet. They do all these tricks, man. It's crazy.
How do you fix that? What do you do about that? Do you write a note to Augusta National saying flatten your tee boxes?
I mean, one I stripe my drive every time because that tee box is dead flat, and then I get to 2, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hey, it's good for the forearm draw, bro. Yeah,
it is.
It's already setting you up for it. Oh man. Well, I'm looking forward to watching at the Masters. A couple more questions. Just majors in general. I know that's something that is going to be on your mind as we head into the bulk of the season. And for you, winning at API, it's obviously one of the biggest events on the calendar year. How much confidence does that give you, Akshay, heading into these 4 majors, which I know are important to you?
Yeah, I mean, it shows a lot. I proved a lot to myself. I said in my interview, like, I think I always believed I could do it, but it's always hard when I literally felt like I was going to throw up the whole day. And to feel those nerves, to win at Bay Hill, which is obviously a very demanding golf course, firm greens, tricky pins, it proved a lot to myself that I can do it when I don't have my best stuff. I mean, I hit 18, I think it was like 18 fairways the whole week,
Yeah.
And so it proved a lot. I think, again, having Joe kind of maneuver me around golf courses that are hard is better because, again, like patience is such a big thing, which is easy to lose sight of when you're not playing well and you're trying to press. But yeah, I think the way I'm practicing now, having a good identity with everything, and it's just literally, I keep doing the same thing and keep doing what I'm doing. That's right. Joe always reminds me that. And then you just gotta happen. Really, you can't force it. But yeah, I'm excited for the majors. I've figured a lot of stuff out at the Open last year with my coach. Augusta, I think, again, more and more you play it, the better you'll have an understanding of it. And Shinnecock, I think, will be very similar conditions to Arnold Palmer with the greens. So I'm excited for that week as well. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming my way. I'm just happy that the year started out really bad with 2 missed cuts to now.
Yeah, get you shaping up. You got to get that talk from Presley. All of a sudden, in a good mental frame of mind. You got Joe helping you on the bag, and of course, good golf takes care of a lot. I know you want to be on that President's Cup at the end of the year, wear the red, white, and blue. So I hope to see you up there in Chicago too. But I think you got a ton of great golf heading your way, Akshay. It's always fun to watch you out there. Love being really anybody on your team, Tommy and Joe. It's always fun to be out there with you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a blast. This year has been great, and I can't believe it's only a couple months in. But
I know. It's flying by, man. So we're a quarter of the way through the season. Before you know it, we're going to be at the Tour Championship.
I know. So yeah, a lot of great stuff coming up, and I'm just happy to be in this position now.
So off to India is what I hear next week.
Yeah.
So I got Indian Open. Is that what it's called?
It is. Yeah. So I'm excited. It's my first time going to India, which will be awesome. Not excited for the flight.
And gotta get some movies. Everybody send movie recs.
Yeah.
And TV show recs. So Akshay's gonna need it.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm sad I won't be with the guys for TGL. But I know Kiz will have my back. So
I just was down with Kiz down at the bar. He's getting ready. He's getting mentally, physically ready. Does that make you feel better? That we were sitting at the bar.
I had low expectations for them, before the playoffs, and for them to do what they did, the vibes are too high for things not to go our way. So.
How's the group chat? Does the group chat have a lot of great energy?
Man, it has really changed our year on TGL. We lost. We started the group chat. We won our first match, and just the things that we say in that group chat, man, it is hilarious. And you'd never think I'd never think that a 24-year-old me would be talking to Tiger, Kiz, and Max in a group chat. So
Do you
it's pretty
like the
funny.
first couple times you were sending things in the group chat? Did you think twice about, okay, is this going to hit in the group chat? Or was there moments of like, well, is Tiger going to get a ha this, you know?
Yeah, definitely certain things I sent. I was like, man, I really hope this is funny. But I'm telling you, no matter what we say, everyone's going to laugh.
I love it. Good energy. Good energy.
Yeah, super electric.
How good does it get, SK? Why not us, Troy?
Today, live from the Pinecrest Inn, it's the Smylie Show. So long, everybody.
This is the Smylie Show.
All right, guys, happy to welcome in sports psychologist Bhrett McCabe. Bhrett, first and foremost, congratulations with Cameron Young. I know you two are a part of the team with Cam and winning at the Players' Championship. It had to be fun, man, watching Cam get it done on a Sunday.
You know, it was very surreal. When he made the putt on 18 on Saturday, I turned to my wife and said he wins tomorrow. I just felt that it was close.
That's a double bogey putt, folks.
Yeah, from 8.5 feet, man. And I just had a feeling that he was really, really close. And his dad actually sent me a text this morning because the last time I was in Scottsdale, I come out here to work with the Milwaukee Brewers, and his dad had called me on something, and he sent a message and he said, you know, it seems like he's not. And I said, these are the moments where somebody's just about to get it done. And I said, one of the next two events, he'll get it done. And he sent that to me. I woke up to this morning, and those are really cool because there's a lot of times we say that and nothing happens, but when they do happen, we feel like a genius. But I just, you know, you've been around the game long enough to know, like, I'm not good at prognosticating, like betting picks or stuff like that. But when you see a player whose belief is getting better and better and better, and they can handle adversity with more grit and more acceptance, it's not far away.
Bhrett, I think people are really starting to get to know Cam a little bit better. I certainly can say that we have from the show, having an hour with Cam, you start to figure out, first off, how intelligent Cam is, how self-aware he is, and it just, how important his craft is to what he does. And nothing has been more evident in what we've seen over the last couple of weeks and how he's played. But really, when you get a full presser from him after the Players' Championship, I think the whole world is starting to see what type of individual Cam is.
I mean, that was mental game mastery. That what he described, it should have been that press conference should be must watch for every junior parent and every junior golfer, because he talked about the vulnerability you saw. And it was kind of interesting is when he made the Ryder Cup team, I had a couple guys that's like, I don't even know him all that well, right? And just players in general. And I'm like, how do you not know the guy? And I'm like, I get it. He just goes about his business. He does his craft. He does it really well. He's very introspective. He's very comfortable with who he is. He and his parents. He's an only child. I'm an only child. I get it. I understand it. His dad's his coach. Has been his coach for his entire life. He's got a small group. His wife and it was a chance to be around her and her family at the Ryder Cup and her brothers. And I'm like, I get it. Like, I totally understand it. And there was that question, I guess it was by a foreign reporter. I couldn't tell who it was. It's like, are you happy? And I'm like, to him, his self-worth is not defined on how he wins. It's when he goes home to his kids and his family unit. I'd spent a little time with him on a Monday night at Scottsdale. I came in and I called him. He says, come on over to the house. I'm preparing dinner for everybody. And it was just he and me and him. They hadn't gotten here yet. And he was so giddy and so happy. And I was like, man, this guy's just, people don't know him. They're going to now, because you're going to see like a man who cares deeply. His faith is very important to him. His family is very important to him. And he goes about his business. Like, there's no drama. Like, just goes to work.
You know what the kind of the scary part is for the rest of the PGA Tour, Brett, is that Cam Young not only won the Players' Championship, but he did it really, I think, without his best stuff. I think he played better. I think he played better at Bay Hill. I was out there on Sunday.
But you and I
him.
talked about it. You and I talked about it in the practice round on Wednesday, right? On 17. You called it.
I was like, this guy's ready to win. I mean, what I saw from him the prior week, if he wedged it a little bit better, just average, really, just giving him a couple more opportunities, he would have, not only would he have won Bay Hill, he would have won by like 3 or 4. That's how well he was hitting the golf ball. The game just really, to me, Brett, just feels like it's easy to him. It's natural. But watching him and his caddy, Kyle Starbinski, right? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Yeah. Watching them up close work, you could tell that there's a level of comfort between the two of them. Of course, Kyle was a teammate of his at Wake Forest.
Roommate.
Yeah. And so the connection there it's obvious. And when you watch him hours after hours, like I have and observed, you could tell that formidable team that they have, that there's a lot of trust in that relationship. And you could tell that Cam really heavily relies on him quite often.
Well, think about when his season last year turned around. It was at Philadelphia Cricket Club, right? Or which I think that's where it was. It was the Wells Fargo. That was Kyle's first week on the bag. Wow. And there was a comfort there, and there was a communication, and Cam was able to, you could see him talking more in between shots. And I know you followed him for 2 rounds this week, and I'm sure there's more interaction there. And Kyle, I think he sees the game as a player, but he knows Cam. He also is non-judgmental, which I think is always very important for a player-caddy relationship, right? I think sometimes players they want to impress a caddy, or they want to show, because they have somebody that's invested in them, and they want to make sure that they're doing it. And Kyle's like, I'm here no matter what, my man. Like, I am in this. And I love that. And I sent Kyle a message after the tournament. I'm like, first of all, I couldn't be more proud of your development as a caddy, but you've got to understand your influence on this is dramatic. Like, Cam is a world-class player. Everyone's seeing that. We know that. But to have somebody serve him in that way, and it's just like his dad. I mean, the team is very small, and it's such a wonderful team to work on because of the balance. But, and Cam is so gracious. It's really cool to see. And I'm very honored. I'm very honored to be a part of it. And I'm just tickled to see the success.
I want you to talk a little bit about players and feeling like they have to play perfect golf to win at the highest level. And this extends down to any level, really. Junior golf, amateur golf, your local men's club tournament that you go on the range right before you go and try to cram for a test, and you want it to be perfect, because you have to feel that sensation in order to feel like you can play well the next day or the next week, or to hold the trophy. Can you just talk about what that mental feeling that we're trying to grab onto, that sometimes even the best players in the world struggle with? And I know you've worked on this similar stuff with Cam.
Well, let me take it to you from a pitcher mentality. So I come from the world of being a pitcher, long time ago. But you go out there and there's expectations. You want things to go your way. You want it to work, but by going against an opponent that it's not going to. Like, they are going to have good stuff. They're going to hit you sometimes. You're going to throw a great pitch and get punished, and there's a movement. And that's why guys always say, I play better in match play, because when you're playing out in a stroke play event, who's your opponent? The 130 guys that you really can't influence at all? Is it yourself? I mean, I've heard that forever, and that's absolutely wrong. It's the golf course. And so what happens is, because we don't know how it's going to go, our mind tries to exert control. And so I call it the competitive or the competition paradox. The more risk that we have, the more we try to control our mechanics, because that's the only thing we can grab into. And we instead have to understand that the game is not perfect. We want to stack, but our mind is naturally that way. If I ask gymnasts that I work with, do you start with a 10 and then have deductions? And they're like, absolutely. I'm like, but you haven't even done the routine yet. So you actually build it. And what I want players to do is to accept that their hard work is not being invalidated by bad swings.
Mm-hmm.
The environment and the conditions are dictating variance in their swings. That's what pressure does to people. Pressure changes the way we move. Pressure changes the way we think. Pressure changes our processes. Now, some can be good and some bad, right? I'm sure when you played, your swing speed was lower on a Tuesday and faster on a Thursday. Yep. All right. A Major League Baseball player, I had this conversation today. He's 93 in the bullpen, and then he's 97 in a game, right? Because adrenaline hits. But you've got to understand what that increased pressure does. And if you don't understand that, then all you can do is blame yourself that you couldn't execute the perfect golf swing. The problem is, and this is a knock I'll have on the instruction world, not instructors, but in the instruction world, is because we can measure all those things, we think those should all be static, and they're not. You have natural variance in everything you do.
First listed here at 44%, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Bryson DeChambeau combined. Tie at 32%, and Yannick Sinner down there at 30%. So where do we do? How about that? Who will win more, Joe? Combined effort. Combined effort.
Yeah. Combined effort. I don't know.
I like it.
Scheffler going to have to get it going here.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
What does the deal look like? That's where it changes. It all changes at that point in time, because you've got them where you want them early, or at some point, even late. And you're making a decision based on opportunity, based on staffing, based on program. And then all of a sudden can you just call my agent to get this deal done? And when you think you have a deal done, you don't have the deal done anymore.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
Why the regular season, Joe, does mean something, because Detroit is going to get a back-end team in the East to begin.
Yes, and it does. And it's just a very strange situation, unfortunate situation for Cade Cunningham in Detroit. But the good news is, if you keep playing teams like the Washington Wizards, well, you're not going to need Cade Cunningham to win those games like they did last night.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
You give me Tiger Woods playing real golf, and you got my eyeballs on your TV screen.
No matter what.
No matter what. I don't care what channel it's on. I don't care the network. I don't care where the course is, as long as it's outside. And if Tiger Woods is playing golf, You have my unadulterated loyalty. I'm watching every minute of that golf coverage because I know he's the only guy I'm going to see.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
That are trying to figure out how can I take all the things I'm working on over in practice and try to simulate that randomness, that tenseness that you feel in competition.
Well, you can't necessarily replicate that pressure, but you can in practice realize that there becomes a variance. All right. And so when that variance happens, do you go changing and looking for the new feel? What that creates is the Band-Aid approach, where it's all of a sudden you've got it timed back up, but you can't replicate it the next day. Okay. And then we're on to another search. I think through experience that when you play, like a player will call and say, I cannot believe this happened. I lost my swing on 14 today. To that point is you're out there and you're playing and you're competing. And then you're all of a sudden you're mad that that happened versus going, man, I was just given a massive gift. Like, I want to study what I did there. And more than that, I want to learn that the next time that happens, because it will, that, you know what? I realize that I get a little long in my takeaway and quick in my transition. So the feel that I need to feel is the thing that I practice every day on the range. Because if you think about like a pilot comes back or after action report, after a military conflict, or surgeons get together and go, okay, what did you experience? It's not why did you experience, it's what did you experience? And we get caught up in the why because that's our self-attribution of like, I am the failed person in this spot versus what happened? Something went wrong. All right. I don't know why, like something went wrong on the back nine for a couple of those players this week, the players. Either you learn from it and you got the most valuable lesson and it's painful. Every great lesson we mostly think about in our lives has some pain associated with it. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. But we also have to look at it as I will continue to repeat it if I don't learn it. And, you know, it's like I got, you know, you get a great lesson. I'll give an example. So Cam, let me keep moving this. Sorry. The sun is something. So Cam had a great one. I mean, it's so hot out here. Cam had a great one. And one of the things I challenged him on was this idea that you have to hit perfect shots coming down the stretch. I mean, you probably thought that, right? But I said, you hit a perfect shot at the
especially for a guy, Bhrett, who's, you know, before last August had not won on the PGA Tour. You know, you would probably think, oh, I have to play perfect to win because I've played really good golf and haven't won, and it just hasn't gone my way.
Yep. But he hit a perfect shot on the 18th hole, 72nd hole of the Canadian Open. And if you remember, he's sitting in the middle of the fairway and he hits it, and you can see his eyes. And I'm like, he thought that was going to go to 10 feet. He was going to make an eagle putt and win the tournament. That ball sailed so far over the green and was and he was like, there's no way I can hit a 3-wood that far. Okay. But what happened this week? I was listening to you because I love listening to you.
Thank you.
They made a change on the 6th hole. What did they change on Sunday?
Well, from my perspective, it was trying to bring the flight down and take spin off the golf ball to start hitting it pin high.
And hit less and hit a little bit more club.
Yeah.
Right.
They were in between clubs. Same thing happened at Bay Hill. Every time they were in between clubs, they went with the lower one and hit it hard, and they struggled hitting it close.
Yep. And to me, you have to understand which one you are. I would say because he's a high speed player, that is probably the logical decision.
Yeah. A spinning guy too.
Which brings in a lot of other stuff. They made a very slight adjustment. And he actually he said, I executed a good shot. I just overhit it on 6. But then he stiffs it on 7. Hits a great one on 8. 9 will leave. Okay. 10. But then all of a sudden it was like, and I told him, I said afterwards, I told Kyle, I said, Cam just won that and didn't birdie a par 5 in the final round.
Dude. It was, boy, did he have some experiences on some par 5s that day. He was keeping me busy with the mic in my hand. I'm telling you,
they weren't pretty, were they?
Underneath the tree, haven't hit a punch shot. I'm like, the pars he made on these par 5s probably felt like birdies, man. Because to me, from just watching him, it feels like mentally, not only is he in a good space, but he just feels tough. I think I could have made an argument in the past that when things kind of went awry for him and went south, that you could see just the body language change. He didn't hit not at one point over the last couple of weeks did I ever feel like his body language and just breaks that happened or putts that didn't go in affected the way that he played or carried himself on the next shot.
Well, when you believe in yourself to face anything, you can face anything. When you believe
Right.
it has to be perfect or it should be perfect, then you get down on yourself. But to me, the greatest example of that was the Ryder Cup, the Sunday match. Before I left to go to the airport, he was warming up and I said, buddy, I said, you're awesome, right? Like you've had a great week. Today is going to be a match where you're going to get up early and the grittiest player on the PGA Tour, Justin Rose, is going to find his way back in this match. And
Boy, did
don't believe that you can't handle that. Finish him on 18. And it was funny. It happened because
That's exactly what happened.
Okay. And you know why I knew that? Because for like 3 years, every major, Billy Horschel, one of my clients, has been paired with Justin Rose. And Justin Rose can hit it all over the map. And you look up and he's 3 under par because the dude never gives in. And when you realize that you can go toe to toe in a fight with somebody like that and endure it, man, those are the experiences that are so awesome. Like people don't look at that. They look at why did I blow the lead or why did I struggle? It's like, no. What did you learn in that? Like Smylie, the things that drive me nuts are my short game saved me today. But are you kidding me? Like that'd be like me as a pitcher saying, well, I mean, my slider saved me. Yes, it's one of my weapons. Like there's no judges in this game. There's nobody over there. I don't have to deal with a flawed Russian judge who's giving all the Russian gymnasts better scores like they used to in the Olympics and gymnastics than they do to the Americans. Like all that matters is what's the score you put on. Like, why do we see that as a negative? Like, I mean, she's pretty, but she's not that pretty, but she's got a good personality. Are you kidding me? Like the game is measured by how you score. Like,
right.
But what happens is we're thinking, well, if I didn't hit it good today, then I'm probably not going to hit it good tomorrow. There's the flawed logic. And toughness is built by facing anything with the tools you have.
Hey, why do you think players that go and play in Ryder Cups and President's Cup have that resurgence of confidence that they get from playing in that environment? I was going to guess that it was just competing, feeling like it's major championship stuff, maybe a little bit of an ego boost with the confidence.
lot of dead time. There's a lot of a 45th where you just didn't get any juices going. Okay. There's no teammate to play defense for you and open up the lane to make it easier for you. I know you're a big NBA guy. You can't travel in golf and get an advantage like you can in the NBA. So, you've got to play the game the right way. And sometimes the game just kicks you in the shins.
Totally.
It can be very lonely for you guys, I can imagine. It's the same way. I mean, I always told people, you think it's embarrassing to miss a putt? Be the dude that gives up a home run in front of 20,000 people or 50, and you have to stand out there while everybody's celebrating. You're standing out there waiting for them to throw the ball back to you. That's pretty freaking embarrassing. You can't hide. So you learn to deal with it.
Well, Brett, this has been a great conversation. The last thing I want to ask you is how was your mental game? Like when you play golf, like, for golf instructors, you often hear how they're the ones that have all the fixes for everybody else when it comes to their swing. Oftentimes you watch them, you're like, wait, they don't know what they're doing out there. How's your mental game when you play golf? Does it feel like you can run through the processes the right way or no?
One of my buddies is a physician. He said, if you treat yourself, you have a fool for a doctor and an idiot for a patient. I think it's the same with me. Like if I'm locked in, but I played Saturday, we had an opening day 3-man scramble and I was awful. Now, like I can give you the excuse of I was watching you during live and I'm watching the rounds go. I've done that before and played great. I don't practice. If I lock into what I want to do on a shot, I'm good. If I can get the feel body wise, I'm okay. I don't play tournaments though. I know what I am. I mean, come on. Like I love to go play with the friends, have a little drink in the thing, have music playing.
I was just trying to give you a hard time. Just sit here.
But okay, but hold on. You and I were supposed to be match play partners.
I know. It. I wanted to do it, but it's so difficult when you have to get these matches done, quarterly. And I was gone for like 7 weeks in a row. My gosh, it was so hard to get schedules aligned the last time I'd done it. But I definitely want to do it. And I think
we'll do it in 27.
Yes,
when
we get back on to 27, 100%. It's the best. The member match play is the best because you get to meet so many different people at the club, and it kind of makes you play with the different members, and I've loved it.
So, but here's the deal, right? So I get a different partner, and I'm playing, and I play great that day against the defending champs, Steve and Boz, and I hit we're all square on 18. Going into 18, I hit a driver sand wedge. The ball lands next to the hole and it spins back 25 feet. Okay. I clipped it too good. All right. They do what they do in match play. They bomb it way right on 18. Dude chips it up to 8 feet and drains it. Okay. So now I've got the 25 footer. I leave it 4.5 feet short. And guess what I do? I horseshoe it. We lose. Okay. So yes, my mental game is not the best, but I don't get mad out there. I try to play. I have a good time. I'd feel much more comfortable if I could get you in the box. How about that? If I can get you in the batter's box, I feel better.
I'm going to be your sports psychologist on our member match play team, and then you get to be. You just need to tell me, okay, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Go get a drink, and then I'll be fine too.
Yeah, we'll be good. I mean, we'll be good. The only thing I'm only concern is my caddy left and is taking a real job, but his employer is a member, and I'm like, I get him back at every tournament, right? I mean,
gotta get your guy. Gotta communicate.
He
gotta
knows
be on the same page.
He knows me, and he's always like, "That was absolute garbage. Your process sucked." And I'm like, I said, "What are you trying to get a better tip here?" Like. I know.
Oh my goodness!
But I love it. I love it. We're all addicted to this crazy game.
I know. Well,
I go out to baseball. I go out to baseball, and they're all like, "Hey, when are we going to play golf? Where are we trying to go?" I'm like, "It's 105 here. I'm not playing golf." All they want to do is play golf.
It's funny. Every professional athlete wants to be pro in something other than the sport that they're playing, and oftentimes those athletes want to be golfers, and we want to be anything other than golfers. It's like, play baseball on pitching would be fun. Going to all these cities, it'd be great. Professional athletes, man. At least you have to deal with them, not me.
Well, no, and I'm proud of what you're doing, dude. I can't be prouder of the stud that you've become in this. I remember working with you as a high schooler, but then also seeing you at Southern Hills and going, dude, this is your gig, man. You kill it.
Thank you, buddy.
So,
thank you, Doc.
Friday.
Go
You got
Tigers
it, my
as
man.
always, man.
Go Tigers. Go
See you at
Tigers.
Shoal.
You got it, man.
Later.
See you soon. Bye.
We'll see you next week on the Golf Channel. This has been The Smylie Show.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our level fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people at YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the...
I don't like to overthink it, Kevin. I really don't. And similar situation, I feel the same way when it comes to betting. I find like that Sunday night, so, you're watching the NFL games, and all of us do it. Like, all right, let's look to next week now. You know what I mean? That Sunday, like, the dust is settled on the game. They just end. It's all like, let's look at next week. My first reaction is always the best reaction.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Congressman propose a bill to end sports investing. All this means is, you didn't pay your tax to us as Congress. Pay that tax. We won't vote on this bill.
Yeah, we saw the same kind of thing, Donnie, with the advent of fantasy football. Remember when that first started and we saw ads everywhere, and all of a sudden Congress had to get, that's because they wanted their fair share.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Him against St. John's being an extreme difference maker, they got guys. At the end of the day, Nate gonna do what Nate gonna do. And they're gonna run it up, they'll get down, they'll come up, they'll go on runs, but you gotta give them credit. I don't think they can win a national championship that way, but man, are they exciting to watch. And they are literally a snap of a finger going on a big offensive run.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they will be having a partnership this season with a company that we've come to be very familiar with over the last 6 months. Polymarket is the exclusive prediction market partner of Major League Baseball and the only platform allows to use teams, logos, and marks. Representing the latest pro league to embrace the prediction markets.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.